everyone, welcome back to my channel for my very first product review. Thanks to Allure for providing me with this review device of their Lite S Android phone. So let's get started with our review. So this is the Allure Lite S Android device, which is running 4.2.2 Jelly Bean. And I'm sure the first question you're going to ask is, well, where did this company come from? I've never heard of that. It's actually a new company that's emerging in the US market, but has pretty much dominated in or been more popular in, say, South America and Mexico. They're based in Miami, and they're trying to get a footprint in the US market. So they were so gracious enough to actually provide me with one of their devices to actually do a review on. And they pretty much wanted me to focus on the actual camera aspects of the device. But, also actually try, some of the other features of what the device actually has on it as well. Out of the box is a device that has a 4.5-inch LCD display. It's at a resolution that is 854 by 480, so it's not your best resolution of a device, and especially ones that are generally over the 4.5-inch marker, but it's still a pretty good display. It has a 1.2 gigahertz dual core processor, only 512 megabytes of RAM, so you're not really going to be able to do that much on it, but it's not geared for someone that's more so of a power user or someone that's going to be downloading a lot of games. This is more so of a budget device that is more geared towards those that are looking for a great capable device or trying to, get into the smartphone usage of things, getting the latest apps that are out there that people are using. It's very great if you're just emailing, instant messaging. You can actually watch videos and things like that. You can play a few games with it, as I did happen to download quite a few apps that I generally use on my iPhone that I have as my primary device, and I didn't have any problems with it. I found that things moved a lot very fluidly, didn't really have any issues there. What you also get is a 1400 milliamp hour battery, which in a day's use, I really wasn't using it that much in my day-to-day use, as I wasn't making any calls or anything on it, but just using it like if I was on Instagram, Twitter, playing a few games here and there, or looking at Flipboard, some of the things that I generally do on my other devices. But I did find that the battery does fare well, and so I didn't have any issues there. What you see is it comes in an all plastic design, but the back I really like. It's like a matte finish, if you kind of see on the camera here. Nice matte blue finish, which is actually very nice. It feels very great in my hand, so no problems there. So if we turn the device around here, we see that it comes with an 8 megapixel rear facing camera with an LCD flash, which is underneath it. On the front, you get a 1.2 megapixel front facing camera. This device also records HD video, where I found in my test that as far as picture quality, it actually fared pretty good. So I'm going to really get more into depth in regards to the actual camera quality and some of the other additional features. Just using, going through the different apps on the device, I found that, it was very fluid. I didn't have any lag or anything like that, which was actually, considering the specs, it does do a lot better than what you would think that it would. Like using Flipboard. It opens up very quickly, like opening up YouTube. Let's go there. See, it loads fairly quickly for a device, a budget device, what it's marketed as, and for the actual specs that it has. Going to my YouTube profile, looking at videos, I had no issues with that. So as you can see, it plays videos pretty well. You're not getting any lag or anything like that. Now, as you can tell, the sound is all the way up, but if you can kind of hear it, you can tell it's very faint. The speaker quality isn't the greatest, but you know, it's passable. So the Geekbench results brings back a 317 single core score with a multi-core score of 581. So if you want to put that in terms of comparing it to like what other devices may be, you know, similar to it, you know, just put it in the sense of an iPhone 4 or iPhone 4S, as I think those two are, you know, kind of around the neighborhood of where this device would stack up against. So the ultimate test that I did for this device was its camera quality. Now I took this thing through the paces of many different situations. In downtown Atlanta, I took several pictures there. I also took pictures at my church, which was a great opportunity for some low light shooting. And I found that the actual camera, the actual sharpness that you get from the camera is actually very good. I had no kind of concerns there. I did get some very sharp images, very clear, had no kind of problems in that area. If you're using the device on its default settings is where you kind of struggle with, because it seems like the default settings will actually have to where its auto white balance will give you like this bluish tone on pictures, and it won't be as natural looking as you would expect. So like some of these pictures, which I'm also going to have at the end of the video, are, you know, straight out the camera, no kind of edits or enhancements are done, and these are just using the default settings. Even with the video quality, as far as like the rear facing camera, really didn't have too many problems with the rear facing video, but when it came to using the front facing camera, you did notice that it breaks up a lot, especially if you're moving in between your video recording. And it seems like it breaks up and you can kind of see a little bit of distortion. Now, with a little bit of assistance, where you actually made some adjustments in the camera, I found that you could get perfectly great images out of this camera without having to do any kind of edits. You just kind of have to, you know, if you're not one that's really tech savvy and know too much about photography, then it may be an issue in that regard. But the controls are very simple to where, you know, you can just play with a few things to kind of see like what kind of results you would get. So for me, I kind of had to adjust the white balance a lot so that way I could get more truer tones and more truer colors, as it seemed to favor more on the cooler side as far as what the actual color temperature of your photo would be. One other downfall that I had is that the shutter, it kind of lags when you're taking a picture. So kind of an example here. So if I'm taking a picture and I press my shutter, you can kind of see that it takes a little time for it to actually take the picture. So that you can actually hear the shutter, I'll turn the volume up and take a picture. So you can kind of see it's like a 2-second delay. So if you're trying to get something that's really, you know, fast moving, or while you're walking, you're gonna get blurry pictures. But if you hold it still, then you shouldn't have any problems there. So if I take a picture and I hold it, you know, it comes out a little bit better, but you still have to hold it very steady, as if I don't think there's image stabilization for video or pictures. So you're gonna have to really be stabilized with whatever you're shooting or whatever that you're taking a picture or a video of. But you know, it's a very capable camera. You know, it's a camera that's on a device that's marketed as a budget device. So I find that it is very, very capable. I don't have any issues with it. I think that if someone was using it, that, you know, they wouldn't have any kind of regrets in that regards of using it. And I found that, you know, it does what it needs. You know, it takes quick pictures, Most people don't tend to, be using their camera pictures for anything professional. Overall, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give this a 7.5. It's a capable device, great device. If you're on a budget, for a device that's around $120, you can use it with pretty much any cell carrier. It's an unlocked device, so you wouldn't have any issues there. You can run a lot of the latest programs that are out there in the Google Play Store. I found that, I have quite a few apps that I downloaded and I was trying out on here. Had no issues. Even some photo editing software like Snapseed and ViscoCam, they work just fine. No kind of issues there. So it's a great device, and I think it's a company that is worth looking into. Another thing that I like is you're basically getting a true Android experience. You don't have those stupid overlays that like LG and Samsung have. It's not making your phone clunky, and I like that. I'm not a very huge Android fan. This is the first Android I've used in about 2 years, but I love that it's more so a native Android than what you would get from LG or Samsung, which does it very horribly with their overlays, which kind of makes for, not that great experience. So it's a great device. I think you should check it out. I'll have all the information listed down below in the description. And at the end, you'll see the video samples and picture samples, unedited, of everything that I took on this device. So hopefully you enjoyed this review. So until next time, I'll see you guys later. Doing a video test of the Allure Lite S Android device using the back camera. This is using the front camera of the device here in downtown Atlanta at the Georgia World Congress Center. Follow me online at Professor Hines on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Also visit me on the web at dynamicvisionphotography.com. Also, be sure to check out my brand new fine art store at dynamicvisionphotography.net.